Hello, welcome to the Disputable podcast, where we talk about controversial topics that people have debates about. We're going to get in both subjects, both sides of it, where everything is disputable. Our first is religion. I'm here with Cairo.
Hello, uh, I am Cairo. What's up?
So, religion has been a very big topic for a lot of issues in the world. But the fact of religion is technically a belief system. So technically everybody has religion. It depending on how you believe things and how your system works on how you believe it. And there's a big
Yeah.
like
Well,
uproar.
yeah, I was gonna say the undertone of religion, I would say, is it is a lifestyle, but you live that lifestyle based on a faith that you have that that religion is tied to. So,
Yeah. And there's a big like thing against like how people use their religion in ways. I'm not going to sit there and say that every religion is bad. I'm not going to sit there and say every religion is good. It's how you interpret your own belief to make that your religion. Because there's some religions out there that people are really into, and most people don't want to have anything to do with religions because there's a lot of, how should I say, Karens in those religions that
well,
people don't want to
yeah.
because, I mean, I understand where all those people are coming from. I mean, they get worried about their faith and they see somebody else not doing what they believe in. So they get very, oh no, something's going to happen. And they get very emotional about it and they don't can't think how they're going to react. So they see somebody doing something they don't believe in. So they react in a certain way to cause others to be pretty much, it's hurting people in the process, but they don't really realize it. I get where they're coming from. Their intentions are trying to be good, but it comes off like they don't really. It comes off like they don't care, but they care a little bit too much in that whole
Okay.
concept.
Uh, I'm trying to follow what you mean exactly. So,
Okay,
uh,
it's pretty much like a parent. I mean, if a parent sees a child doing something, and the parent don't want the child to do something, the child's doing something, the parent gets very uh they care so much about the child not wanting them to do it, they get to say punish the child for doing that, and the child would think that the parent hates them for doing that when the parent doesn't hate but really cares for the child.
Well, I don't think it would be so much hate. It's just more of the complexity of it is just the child feels as if their parent just can't their parent cannot find within themselves a joy in their child when the child is constantly doing things that upset the parent. So, but
Mhm.
going into what you were saying about, are you saying that uh I'm not understanding where the parent thing comes in
Oh, the
exactly.
parent thing, I was just saying using that as an analogy because of a parent loving the child so much, but the child don't see how much the parent loves the child. That's just like how in the whole concept of people on the outside, they put their nose in the places they're not supposed to because they're trying to do that like parenting thing. Let's just say if you go to church and there's a lot of people who's in church who are um
Hmm.
the top of the church and they're looking down at everybody else who are in church and they're like, I care for you so much. You're not doing the way you're supposed to be doing for this church. And everybody who is not doing what the top people wants them to do, they are labeled not churchgoers, not church people. by the
No, yeah,
top of the
yeah.
church.
Yeah, I mean, from personal experience, I think that uh,
Mhm,
somebody who's on the top of a church or the leader of a church shouldn't push anybody away from their opportunity to serve in a church.
mhm,
But okay, I'm still trying to bring it back to what you were saying earlier because I'm trying to understand what you were. Okay, so what you were implying or
mhm,
discussing of how people view religion because they view it as something where if you're not perfectly doing the right thing, then you won't be accepted within that church. So it's like, but
mhm,
even though the truth of religion and the truth of the religion in which these churches in which we were speaking of, what they actually are, um, it's the actual religion itself is not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be
mhm,
like we're not supposed to grind people into a perfect diamond. I mean, everybody's gonna come in with some scars and damage, and
mhm.
that's natural. You'll get that throughout life, and nobody lives a perfect life. At least nobody alive today uh, can live a
Yeah,
perfect life.
yeah,
So
yeah, I was just saying, like, the churches, most churches really, really look down on people. And, we've had experiences in our life that we've gone through that churches have um looked over us and not really um got into and another thing is churches are have different like trans translations of the Bible, or like they look at the Bible differently than other churches.
actually, it's cool that you bring that up because I was thinking about this earlier today because I knew we were gonna have this discussion.
Hmm.
Because I was gonna actually bring up how, like, I mean, I've been to many different types of churches. I mean,
Yeah, same.
uh, or say Yuki, whatever.
Uh-huh.
They're her family is like a Lutheran religion, whereas we grew up, apostolic Pentecostal, and then or at least I think that's what we grew up. I mean, that's what mom says, and I don't remember hearing anything about that until we went to that other church, which uh,
Well,
yeah, I don't want to name them, but you know what I'm talking about. The
yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
the
other
one that we
churches.
really went to. That's one that I really
Well,
remember. I remember going. I
technically,
remember going to the other ones, but I don't remember the name of them.
yeah,
I
technically we went
guess.
to a Baptist church
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, I remember the ones. Yeah, I remember Baptist, like the Sunday Church Baptist ones. I remember going to them a lot. Uh, which they were
And
interesting, I guess.
I
But
do want to say,
mm,
from our experience, and you can get onto what you were saying from our experience, just because a church is saying they're good people and they're awesome and everything like that does not necessarily mean that they're good people. We've been scammed several times by these people who said they was church people. And that's what I'm sitting here getting at too,
yeah,
that not all church people are good people, but not
yeah.
all church people is
At
bad.
some point, some churches, when they get to a point of relevancy, they treat the church as itself like a business rather than what it was always supposed to be, which is just a place to welcome people into learning about the religion. It's not even supposed to transition someone. It's just a place of learning about the religion.
Mhm.
And if you gain that
Yeah.
knowledge from that religion, that's you take it you get it from the church, and then you understand it on your own. Like you just
Mhm.
and the bigger part of, I guess, in in our religion would be to pray to a god, or you pray to God and ask him to and help you interpret that, if that's the faith in which you align yourself with. But I don't know, it's
Oh, that brings up to what you said earlier about people. Nobody's perfect. They're all going to go into a church
yeah.
to pretty much learn how they interpret the Bible, they
Hmm.
interpret life itself. And that kind of like makes me think. And the question is, which religion is like the honest, good religion? Because technically, we humans,
I don't think there is a singular one good religion, because they
that's what
all
I'm sitting
have
there
their
saying.
they have fault lines in the way that they
Mhm.
teach, because I think that with our religion, Christianity, it's most definitely it's an evolving learning, I think.
Yeah,
But
Christianity is.
but you're not the
Mhm,
learning process is changing of how you learn it, but the values and the lessons are always the same. It's just there's different ways to learn it, and I feel like a lot of people, as I said, fall into using a business style in which they just repeat the same, repetitive like transactions, which is like, for
mhm.
instance, if you have communion, you go up in there, you eat the chip, or you listen to the
Yeah,
sermon, you eat the
I
chip, you drink
do
of the wine, and
I
then
do wanna
all that stuff. In
say
which it's fine, that's all traditional and that's good, but it's just like I mean, I don't know if that's really teaching a lot of people. I mean, some people are comfortable with that, and yes, so like repetition can help, especially a routine. But I think there's just
I
differences in what
wanted
people learn.
yeah, I wanted to say something about the whole, not any religion is I don't think that there's a superior religion. Like, Christianity is a good example, like he was saying, because there's different branches of Christianity. I'm gonna touch on the one Christian, branch that I do not if anybody is within this religion, I'm not bashing you. I'm not sitting there saying that you're wrong because, like I said, we
If
don't know what
anything,
the
if anything,
superior.
if anything, I would say about what you're probably going to say about whatever it is. I don't know what it even is yet. I'm just going to say
Mm,
to whoever's listening, it's best to try to correct people whenever they say something incorrect about what you believe, or don't get angry about it. It's
mm.
it's it's good to speak up
Yeah, that's what
about
we were
what
just.
you believe, but don't get angry about it, because if you speak kindly to people, they're much more receptive to what you could say to them. So just keep that in mind.
Well, I was gonna sit there and say that this is not going to bash any of the religions because, like I said, that no religion's superior than any religion because they think how they interpret the Bible is how they interpret the Bible. Nobody can sit there and say that they interpret the Bible in the perfect way. Well, I'm going to get on to talk about one of the biggest religion branches, the Catholic Church. That's like the biggest one because the people believe that they do not have enough power in themselves to talk to God. They need to go to a priest. The priest is the only one able to get with God, talk to God. And when they have that whole concept there, that they're the only one, that the priest is the only one to talk to God. They're the only one that has the righteousness to talk to God. That leaves a whole lot of stuff that people that are not the priest are able to do. That freedom of, they can sin and do stuff that are against God and just run
I
to the priest and say, "Hey, I could you forgive me for this? I'm not going to be able
I
to
would.
forgive
I'm actually
myself."
going to say I would really hope that somebody that's Catholic can help kind of clear up a little more of the, I guess,
Mhm.
psychology of that religion, because I'm curious of like how does it process in their mind that this is how it works? Like
Well,
what
another thing too,
I
I
don't
want to
know,
say,
because I don't know enough about the religion, and I don't know enough about like
I
how
have
they teach it and
gone.
what they know. I
Oh,
mean, I've gone to a
mhm.
Catholic sermon before. I think I
I've gone
actually
there
did it like
too.
at the same place, probably in the
I
basic
was
training.
yeah, I was trying to for myself, figure out which religion would be good for myself. And yes, I have gone to different religions and I have pretty much looked at other these religions to make sure, oh, do they fit me? Are they, how do they feel? What's wrong
Yeah.
with them? And this is my like thoughts about Catholic churches, in which I just feel that I have the power to anybody has the power to talk to God. I don't really want to think I am not worthy enough to talk to God. Another thing is the only way to become a priest is through schooling. And that was something too. And I looked up that and how to become a priest, you have to spend a lot of money to even get into the classes to even understand the Bible that the school like gives you. It's like a process. Like you can't have your own mindset. You have to go through what the school says, how they teach it, and then
Mhm.
when you go to the church, how the church priest teaches that to the people, and it's like a structured. And I don't really,
Yeah,
I can't get into that.
I can understand why people would feel comfortable with that as a structure, especially with the part
Hmm.
where you said earlier with it just being like, oh, you can just do whatever you want and then, bring that to me and I can speak to God and God will forgive you based on, you telling me about this and then me speaking to him about it or lot of them believe that, the priest actually just speak to Mary, I believe, and then Mary speaks to, it's like a chain of, leadership or
Yeah.
something.
Hmm.
Uh
Yeah,
something
that's
similar.
yeah, that was something that was just a branch of Christianity that I don't really personally myself,
Yeah.
I do
Uh,
not I cannot get behind and like get into that religion and praise that religion pretty much.
yeah.
I'm a Christian and I have a different view of how interpreted the Bible is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sitting there saying is I don't think that there's a religion that is superior. So if you believe in some other way of life, that's not going to sit there and say that your way of thinking is better than my way of thinking about life.
Mhm.
And we're going to get to the whole science versus religion. All right.
Okay.
And this is a big topic on the whole everywhere.
I mean,
Uh,
it's
but the funniest thing is, as we've been saying, is religion is the belief system, and
Mhm.
scientists and science people, that's their religion, to be honest, because they believe in the scientific facts of stuff.
Well, see, the way that I would put it, and I think the way that I believe what science really is when you discover something scientifically, you're really just looking at how God designed the universe, because He
Hmm.
designed it the way it is, and we're just simply viewing that. And we have found different ways to view that with different technologies. Technological advancements and stuff like that have, especially in this day and age, just expanded so quickly. It's becoming more and more, um, you know, what's the word? Um, it's easier to access, I guess, these different equipments in order
Yeah.
to gain these aspects of the universe that we're getting now.
Yeah,
And
to
and
get that
and
knowledge and everything.
and if you look at just like the pictures of space and how beautiful they are, I mean, you
Mhm.
just see that like just the, I mean, there's no way that we can just say that religion and science is just separate unless you just believe there is no such thing as religion, and that's fine if that's what you believe. That's your opinion and that's your belief.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to disrespect it. However, it's just I believe that they're one and the same.
Yeah, I do believe that in the same way too. And my I have a lot, there's like more evidence to show that what you just said was more accurate to life, because science is only the understanding of what us humans can comprehend. In which, yes, there's more nowadays. You have more technology. They have more people who know more stuff. But it's the thing about science too is 10 years ago, whatever was used 10 years ago is outdated now.
Yeah, you know what?
So science is
Sorry.
always changing. Science is always like it's
You know,
never gonna be the same.
for all the astrology people out there, and I think astrology is pretty cool. I think it's very neat. I don't understand like how exactly stars affect us or whatever, but uh,
Oh no,
if you think about
I
what
think that's the
astrology
reason.
is, I mean, astrology was science at one point because we didn't have all the lights that dim down the sky back in like, before electricity and at least other things. I mean, yeah, we have torches and stuff at night,
Mhm.
but they didn't shine as bright and there wasn't as, widespread, places with a lot of lights shining up in the sky. So the stars were a lot, more vibrant and, we could see them clearer. And there's a lot of sketches and artwork and stuff like that of people that use stars to create maps and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you think about it, science is used in almost every aspect just as mankind. And it's not even just, I mean, and people have followed that even to a religion. So that's kind of interesting to think about that.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I was saying. That science, like that, goes back to what you were saying too about science is literally the how this world like runs, and I mean, there's always a prime. If you think about everything in this world today, everything has a reaction to an action, and there is nothing that is a prime action. A prime action is something that has happened that just creates without having a reaction to make it. There's nothing in this world that you can just pop into nowhere. And we humans, we that actually has a big issue too on well humans nowadays who that gets a better understanding of why there's a higher power and why there's a more of a godly person who is there to create something that we can't comprehend because science is what we can comprehend. We can understand, okay, well, this goes here, and that goes there, and this goes here, and it makes this. Okay, that's what science does. I'm gonna sit there and say it. I'm I have a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory about science
Oh boy,
that
what?
well, nowadays I kind of just feel that scientists are trying to get their discoveries discovered out in public. So they can literally use their smart scientific degree and scientific ways to get the public to think that their scientific discoveries are legit. Like they can take something from 10
Oh,
years ago
oh,
and
there's okay.
outdate
Well, then,
it
yeah,
and
there's
then
no
take it
doubt.
nowadays and be like, oh yeah, this is what happens. This is
Oh yeah,
the
there's no
truth.
doubt. I mean, honestly, if you pay attention to a lot of the stuff that's going on with just the internet itself, people are
Mhm.
impressionable, and like if they hear something or see something based on their first impression, a lot of people just end up believing exactly what they see off just the first glance. Like the majority of people don't question a lot of what they see on the
Mhm.
internet. So I would 100% can believe that some scientists would stage some sort of discovery and make it seem like it was something that
Mhm.
just happened,
Yeah.
whenever in
Yeah,
reality
that's
they discovered it a while back, and they were just like, well, now we can show this to the world and be like, oh, look at this.
mm,
But also I don't doubt that some things could be real. I mean, I'm not sure about the actively
yeah.
discovering it in front of people kind of thing. That sounds a little bit
Like
odd. I'm
I
not.
do like that like, does make me think about the whole like Big Bang theory. It's always going to be a theory because it can never be um they could never experiment with it. The scientific method, you come up with a theory, you get the
I,
evidence to do that theory, and then you do an experiment for that theory to make it if
I
see if
think
that
that
theory is true.
I heard once. I don't remember where I heard it from, but I think I heard once that somebody like that was like really like they're not really hardcore science or whatever. No, I don't know what their religion is, because I don't remember who it was or like what their background is exactly. But I know that they had this point of view. They said something about like uh damn, I already forgot what I was saying.
Oh, well, yeah, I was just because I just feel that
I was
that
trying to
whole
remember who it was.
yeah, that's what you was trying to just remember. I think you don't really have to remember who it was, just if you can remember like what was said. Because I mean that's what I was thinking about the Big
I mean,
Bang
you just got yeah, you
theory.
got to continue what yours. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I remember what it was now. Yeah, they were
Oh,
just
okay.
saying how like any scientific discovery is still technically a theory because, I mean, well, most things are. I
Unless
mean,
you do the
gravity is
scientific
still
method.
gravity itself is even still a theory because there's no way to prove. I mean, we prove that we get or that we are held by gravity, but like what gravity actually is, it's still a
Mhm.
theory upon like what the because no like we haven't like discovered enough about what gravity is in order to like we just know that there's
Well,
something
here's
interesting about the planes and how they
uh,
bend and
what I
something
can
about like
believe.
I can't explain. I don't know all the
Okay,
science
so
to explain
here's
it.
my thoughts, and this is
It's
just
very interesting.
me thinking about the whole science of around gravity. Let's just say this: gravity is not real because there are people who don't believe in gravity either. What holds people to the ground?
Are you
What
saying
would
okay?
be
If gravity wasn't
if
real, what is
gravity
holding
wasn't
us to the
real? What
ground?
is holding us to the ground?
Uh, hmm.
I mean, that's something that people they sit there and what would you call it? It's like gravity's not real, but I'm being sucked to the ground to make sure that I'm not floating off into wherever space.
Yeah.
And it's something there's something there that is scientifically you can feel it. You can see that nothing else is falling like going out of the sky because this is literally keeping you in the world. So what would you if it did not like
Honestly,
exist,
my
what would
my
it be?
brain doesn't go to any other place but gravity because it's the only thing that really makes much sense. Because
Yeah, and that's to
because
me, that's
I
my
there's
brain.
no physical attachment, and there's no. I mean, there's nothing really that I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, gravity. I mean, you're breaking my brain by making me think that gravity is not real.
Yeah, I mean, that's out but there are people who think that, though. There's people who think that birds are not real. I mean, and these are there's
I can
tr
get behind the idea of there being drone birds every once in a while, but I don't think every bird is not real. I think it's kind
mm,
of like kind of crazy a little bit just to kind of think that, just because there could be one or two that all of them are just suddenly fake. It's like, okay, well,
yeah.
that's a really
I I
irrational way of
yeah,
looking at it.
that's very
I
there
can understand it being a little bit suspicious of me because I can definitely see the technology being, you know, there. We can definitely build something like that, especially
yeah.
military of some sort. Probably, I have no idea, but I'm not looking for these birds because I don't think they appear like relatively often enough to really matter. At least not to me. And if they're watching me, cool. That's cool. What are you gonna get? I'm chilling here talking to you about religion. So
I mean, I like you said saying there's probably very few of them that caused the whole uproar of people saying that birds are not real. I mean, I read about that. I'm just like I'm confused about it to be honest. Like, yeah, like you said, there may be maybe few of them that are drone operated. Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that birds are not real. Like somebody, hit a bird and the bird came down, it was all shattered into like, mechanical pieces all over the ground. They're like, "Oh no, I figured it out, guys. I figured out birds are not real." And everybody came around. And then they start, what if they smashed their bird and that bird was real? Oh my God. And that bird's, and it's like,
yeah, that'd be kind of
uh,
horrible. But like, dude, chill. Like,
yeah,
step back
I
from the
mean,
bird, man.
yeah, that goes all with their
But
thoughts and their
that goes to
religion,
that point of like you definitely have some irrational thinking if you can go that far as to believe every bird is fake just
Yeah, and it goes
for
like,
whatever reason like that. I mean, I've definitely seen birds up very close, and like I believe I've held a bird or two in my hands.
yeah, and that goes with what you were saying earlier. People are kind of
So like,
impressionable.
I mean, yeah. So
And
like, I mean, another question is people that believe birds aren't real. Have they never held a bird or gotten close to a bird? Like, they don't. They're just little creatures. Like they.
you're
I don't
breaking my
know
brain
what.
with that question. I
You're
don't
breaking my
know.
brain.
I don't know. I just feel that, like you were saying, people are impressionable, and that leads to
Yeah.
another one last subject about everything would be cults.
Oh. Okay.
This is the last topic within this episode because
Yeah.
cults are religion gets confused with cult. Like it gets all mixed up. Like when you have a belief
Well,
system.
I like what Markiplier said one time. He said,
Okay.
he quoted
All
like
right.
a cult is no, it wasn't. It was a Markiplier. It was literally Joe Rogan in like a comedy special. He said, from what he gathered, a
That's totally
cult
different.
is yeah. I know. I don't know why Markiplier was one that popped in my head for this, but no, it was Joe Rogan. No,
Okay. Okay.
he was he said in his special, he said a cult is a religion, but the leader knows that that religion is, well, basically a lie. I'm not going to say the exact quote that he said, but it was a lie. Uh,
Well, I
and
believe that a cult is a following of people who follows without having their own mindset, without being able to think for themselves. You need to deconstruct your religion to find out if your religion is good for you. And if you just follow along with somebody without questioning what's going on with this religion, or if you are not able to, you're in the cult. It's more of you good in there, you sitting down, and the preacher is telling you things, and you're just like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I did that. That's me. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well,
And then you
the
just get into it really hard.
the other half of the joke was they said that religion is a cult, and that was a cult, and a religion is, that religion, but the guy who made it is dead. And
Oh,
is
I
he?
actually heard this.
But
I
he was only
heard that
referring.
one.
But he was referring to something. You should. It just. I don't know if the special even still on Netflix, but because they probably took it off. However, I mean, it was just funny concept. But either way, that's just how some of the government sees it mostly. I think that's what he was kind of getting at there.
Oh
But
yeah.
but the reality of the how cults and religions can be is uh
They could be
yeah, you were good.
very yeah, they can be very it on the outside you can look at it and you're looking at somebody who's going through a religion, going through their belief system, and you may on the outside look at them and think, "Oh man, they're being brainwashed. They're being like something." But what if this is a what if part? Those people are actually uh open-minded to learn themselves about it, like teach themselves if they are able to learn about it and deconstruct their own religion to get into it themselves.
I mean, that's why I think it's kind of healthy to, like, within religion itself, to experience other religions and
Mhm.
experience how they believe things and what they do within their
Yeah.
religion, because
I do th
it's all to gain perspective of how people have interpreted,
mhm, and I do
the great
believe
before, the great beyond,
mhm.
and everything between, really.
Yeah, and I do believe that every religious a person of different religions and different backgrounds, different everything, they have their belief system that it'd be good for you to respect their religious beliefs, their religious views.
And I think if a religion is basically telling you to not listen to anything else besides what they say, then it does seem
Mhm.
pretty culty, because that is a very
Yeah,
culty,
yeah, that's what
like,
I'm yeah,
mentality.
that's what I'm
And
saying.
the thing is, I feel like if you're saying something is cult like, I mean, Christianity can be cult like, but it's not a cult entirely. But there are people that do treat it in such a way to where it becomes like almost like a cult. Like, as we were saying earlier, with people having to
Mhm,
pretend they're perfect to be, higher up in a church. It's like that's a bit culty
mhm,
to me, because you're saying you have to live a certain way, and abide by my rules and stop doing things like, I don't know. It sounds like you're just trying to gain control over my life entirely. And I mean, I
yeah,
understand that there are a lot of things you could teach
people
me
don't
that I
like
could learn, but like, why are you not teaching me those things? Rather, you're just telling me what I should do and what I should not do. Just teach me what I should know and help me understand how to make those decisions on my own. So, I mean, I think that's the point we got to get across to, like, where it's a religion, and where it's, where it's a religion, or it's mind control, or culty, or whatever it is,
mhm.
in that kind of way. I'm not wording it
Yeah,
correctly, but I think it's very understanding. It's understandable what I'm saying there.
yeah, that's it. And I mean, yeah, that's what the whole like I think the difference between a cult and having a religion, having a belief system, because like you were sitting there saying, the cult is a way of uh, the top people are in charge of what's going on throughout the church. And if you're not abiding their rules, or you're not like going through and being how they want you to be, you're either A, going to be kicked out, and then you're going to be feeling like you're the worst piece of shit ever because you just got kicked out of your religion. So you're going to have to try to abide by what they want. You're going to thinking, oh my gosh, you're going
Well,
to go to hell.
by my point, you got kicked out of a cult. You didn't get kicked out of a religion. The religion lives within your faith that you have and you
Yeah, but
carry
if
it with you.
somebody yeah, but somebody wouldn't know that. somebody
Oh,
wouldn't real
I know, but
listen.
that's why I'm saying it now so that
Mhm.
whoever hears this knows
Oh,
about it.
yeah, yeah, you can say that again actually, 'cause I stopped you.
Okay, I'll say it again. If they kick you out, then they kicked you out of their cult. They didn't kick you out of their religion. You can still carry it with you through faith.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's something that I think a good, endpoint to this podcast episode. And there's so much more to talk about within the religious aspect of life. There's, how you talk to people, how you dress, how you, like, present yourself, how your own life like, ways of life. There's so many things that we're gonna have a lot more episodes on this podcast to talk about different aspects of life and different pretty much topics of religion. So that's this one's over, and we're gonna get to a next one another day. Cairo guy, we're gonna get on off here, and we're gonna go to an you know on to the next episode. Bye everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye. As always, thank you all for watching this video and making it this far. It's very appreciated. And if you like and subscribe, I appreciate that too. I'll make some more content for you. If you want more of the Disputable podcast, come here to my polytainment Patreon, where I'm going to give you more things, more content, and you'll be getting it early access. On the pages here, we're going to have the first half of a comic book that I've created. It's gonna be on there. You can read it. You can get on there. You can read the lyrics to the "How You Feel" song. You can get on there and read the transcripts of mine and my brother. We're talking with the Disputable podcast. You can read it. While in the audio, you're gonna be hearing the song "How You Feel," and you're gonna be listening to the podcast. But also, we have another podcast that me and my brother is going to talk about our Heroverse. We're going to be talking about our characters, our timelines, and everything that's our hero, everything that on pages. You'll be getting the pages of those characters, and then we're going to put it all together as a book for Exoticopedia for you. Films. So in films, we're going to be doing podcast videos, the music video of How You Feel, and the behind the scenes of the militia vigilantes. We're doing all that stuff for the pages, the audio, and the films that we're all putting together, and we can put it on the all content tier for everyone to get everything. They don't have to go to the pages or the audio or the films. They're gonna get it all in one tier. We're working hard, and this is something that you could get into. My link to this is going to be in the description, so you can click on that link, go to the Patreon, and get into any one of them you want. You want to read, go to pages. You want to hear, go to audio. You want to watch, go to films. If you want all, go to all content. It's all what you want. So far right now, thank you for watching my content. Thank you for just subscribing and liking and getting as far as you do in my videos. You give me a good view. The views you give me is really, really appreciated. Just, I hope you have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being there. Thank you for, without you, it's really, really hard for me to just do all this. And you make it easy for me by being you. So thank you. And I'll see you next time.